Hi, my name is Mike Rutkowski, estate planning and elder law attorney here at the Rutkowski Law Firm. What are you doing in here?
Hey Dad, you're in my chair.
In your chair? I'm not giving up my chair.
Welcome to the Rutkowski Law Firm.
Welcome to the Life Lessons with Rutkowski Law Firm, where we break down the complex world of estate planning into simple, actionable steps. As an experienced estate planning attorney, Michael Rutkowski has helped countless families protect their assets, avoid costly mistakes, and create lasting legacies. Today, we'll be focused on why you need to avoid probate at all costs and give you a real life scenario on why this is so important. Michael, welcome.
Thanks for having me as always. It's funny, and I'm glad we're doing this because we preach a lot about why you should avoid the probate process, but I was actually in court all day yesterday, and I think this would be a very, not only educational story, but kind of entertaining as well. So I think, and I haven't told it to you, so ask questions as I'm going through it because there's just a lot to unpack here.
All right, let's do it.
We're in the probate court. We're at the first step of going through the probate process, which is getting appointed your personal representative, also known as the executor. Like, who's going to be in charge of consolidating the assets, figuring out who gets what, making distributions, paying bills. That's we're at the beginning step of this. But let me, and I'm going to exclude names to protect the innocent, or not so innocent, but essentially here's what's going on. Mom and dad were married for 30 years, but divorced roughly 10 to 15 years ago. So they are no longer married. All right. There are four kids that we're going to talk about here. There's 3 boys and 1 daughter. The daughter there's a big question of whether she's actually a biological child or not. And there was actually, during the divorce proceedings, they were trying to figure all this out, and they had DNA tests done that showed that it was most likely not the biological daughter of the dad, okay? Biological of the mom, but not the dad. So all the sons, for sure, 100% match. They're biological kids. The daughter is not. When this all happened 10 or 15 years ago, and they found out that she was not, she estranged from the family. She hates everyone. She hates mom. She hates dad. She talks so nasty to the brothers. Their relationship went south real quick back during this period when they figured out that she was not a biological child. Okay. You follow me to this point?
I'm following you. Okay. How old were they at the time of the divorce?
So I would say they were probably around 18. All the kids were around 18 when the divorce happened, and they found out that she was not the biological child. But it has been well documented. The whole town knows. It's like small town USA. Whole town knows that she's not the kid of the dad. There's many of text messages that she admits to it. She says she's not why am I going to do these things? I'm not actually, his daughter, blah, blah, blah. She's admitted it up and down. So we're in the probate court, and she actually files the petition to become the personal representative because she is named on the birth certificate. So there's an order of priority of who gets to do it. And because mom and dad are divorced, that takes mom out of it. And now the proper person is one of the kids. Well, money makes people do crazy things. So immediately when she finds out that dad passes, she files a petition to become the personal representative to make sure that she gets some of all this, right?
It's wild she even knew to do that.
Yeah, she was probably waiting for the guy to die, to be honest. People do messed up things for money and whatever. And so she immediately files it. We represent one of the sons, and we're contesting in court yesterday. We're there all day, contesting the fact that one of the sons should be the personal representative, not this female who's not actually even a daughter. But here's the problem. Here is why planning is so important. The law states that in a married couple, if a person is born out of wedlock and they still raise the child, it's presumed that it is a child of the marriage. So now it is on the brothers or the dad to prove that she is not. And actually, weirdly enough, when the dad passes away, you can no longer contest this anymore. So you can't, there's no one to now disprove because it's the dad's burden to say it's she's not the child. And the court also presumes that he had the ability to make corrections to the birth certificate, do an actual DNA test court ordered, make a will that disinherits that person. There's all these steps he could have taken to make sure that she didn't receive anything out of the estate. So we have an uphill battle to prove that she's not a biological child, but it's not very favorable to us because he took no action to do planning.
Super messy because, as somebody who is, my mom and stepdad are divorced, but my stepdad raised me. And so I can't imagine him taking any action to put me out of anything because of that. So without knowing, if my stepdad doesn't put anything in place, chances are my stepsisters are going to get everything because which honestly, it's all that whole thing's also messy. So for me, I'm not the diabolical type that would petition to be to be the designator on that. But I can imagine that, like, without the dad there to say one way or another of what his wishes are.
It's a long road ahead for us because first we have to attack her position and priority as personal representative. So we have to prove that she's not the best fit to be personal representative because of the question of whether she's a biological child. And we'll have to use other reasons to do it too. But the sad thing about all of this is she continues to maintain a strong position that she hates everyone, hates the family, and she will spend every dollar that she has just to get them back. There's just this weird thing going on. And we see this all the time. You think that people are going to fight over pretty straightforward stuff, but it's always these weird, there's so much emotion attached to people passing away and money that people do things for such crazy reasons. So now, this is going to be dragged out. It was yesterday. We had a favorable result being that our job was to show the judge that there was enough reasonable evidence that we should go to a contested hearing to prove that she's not a child and do all these things. So now, you see where this is all going.
Oh my gosh. So that there wasn't even a decision yesterday. You've just gotten the next step to contest it.
Yeah, we just got to the next step, which is we're going to be able to take testimony from everyone to prove that she's not a credible person, all these things that we're going to do. But step one was we had to show the court that there's a reason why not to appoint her because she went first. She jumped at it real quick. So now it's our burden to show that she's not a good fit. And so that was our job. Yesterday was to show that, there's things that need to be looked at further and it can't be decided in, a quick 5-minute hearing. The whole family was there yesterday. So everyone took off of work. They're paying lawyers and people to do things. They're paying the courts for their time. So this is just going to rack up time and money to get through all of this. She's got a personal thing against them to do it. It's just such a sad situation, but it's a real life example of, what steps could have been taken, right? He could have put in place, even though we preach about the differences between wills and trusts and how trust can be better for a lot of situations. But even in this case, him just having a will would have been very, very effective to just show what his wishes were. Now, two interesting facts here is that one, they've known where this DNA test was for the last 20 years. Dad keeps all his paperwork super organized, right?
Hey, thanks, Dad.
Somehow we can't find it. It's missing. That's interesting. Also, Dad always said, he told everyone he did a will and, he's leaving everything to the boys. That's what he always said. Guys, I got it covered. I did a will and it's going all to the boys. He said this millions of times to lots of people. yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say that the daughter removed these items from the house at some point, but it's possible, right?
Yeah.
We've
Oh
called
my God.
every attorney in the county to see if they did, a will, and no one has any record of it. That's all we can do. So now we're going forward with no actual DNA tests. We can't find it. We just have, we're going to have to use text messages and conversations that were documented, emails.
The paperwork from the divorce, I imagine, will come into play.
No, the paper from the divorce didn't mention the DNA testing. They did that. They did that separately themselves to figure out whose kids are whose.
Okay. Oh my
The
God.
dad always thought that she wasn't for some reason. She just thought there was a weird period of time where maybe there was some infidelity or whatever going on. So here we are. We don't have DNA results. We don't have a will. And so we have to, go forward with intestate succession, which is never what people want. And, it's just going to be a long road to prove that she's not the daughter, even though the world knows it. The world knows it.
Anywhere from a year to 18 months. Is that the case here, or are you looking at longer considering the special case of this?
It's going to be longer. So 9 to 18 months is your typical when things are pretty straightforward. We're just consolidating assets. We are selling property, all those things. This is going to be a 2+ for sure.
Oh man,
because we got to take depositions. There's going to be a ton of evidence that has to be provided. This is like as ugly as it gets. And the story just keeps going. Like she's like the house cleaner for like the whole city. And so, she's cleaning the house of her attorney. My guess is they have some exchange there of how they're doing it. The story we could do a TV show.
It could be. It could be
a TV show on this one.
If you are not thinking about, at bare minimum, having a will, ideally with a trust of some sort, now would be a good time. And we are here to help. If you'd like our help, please give us a call at 248-955-2842. We're here to guide you every step of the way. And if you want to keep learning about the ins and outs of estate planning, be sure to subscribe now to this channel and take the first step towards peace of mind, because estate planning isn't just about documents. It's about protecting your family and securing your legacy. Michael, thank you as always. And thank you all for listening.
I'll keep you guys updated. We're going to do a part 2 on this one.